I have some very interesting guests. If you keep up with Dianne Andrews in Black and White, you'll know that I've done 2 shows already on the Silver Dollar Group of the Klan. They were the most heinous group of the Klan, and they were only 15 men who caused a lot of havoc and death and destruction in the early 1960s. Okay. I want someone to come in who has something to say to you about the bombing of your grandmother's house, which Sonny Taylor was one of the people purportedly to be part of the mechanism that did not go off, that saved the people from the Congress of Racial Equality and saved your life that night, along with your grandmother, Miss Kathleen. Okay. Come on, Deborah. I've done a show before with Deborah Taylor also. Both of you are true heroes.
Hi. How are you?
They've never met before. Her father attempted to bomb his house and kill him. And Deborah is the person who went to the cold case files to make sure that there was some resolution and some solace for you people, and to try to help find the bodies of the people that her father was purportedly one of the murderers of the 9 people who were killed. You are still a minority in the world. When we talk about almost 7 billion people, you're 1/7 of the world, which is a large population. But do you think these other religions, the Christianity, the Nation of Islam, Hindu has almost 900 million people, which is started in Asia, and that is the oldest religion. Buddhism has as many people as we do in America. 376 million are Buddhist. So do you think everyone else is wrong, or how do you look at that? Dr. Greason's house, I mentioned to you when I started October, Halloween party he had that he used to have every year. He is now not with us anymore. And you came up, you were just talking about, I'm going to be an astronaut, I want to do this, and I'm going to do that. And I remembered your bubbly personality from then. Now, she speaks 4 languages. She attends the Baton Rouge International School, so we have to give the school credit, which is a wonderful school here, from what I've heard here in Baton Rouge. And she speaks 4 languages: Chinese, English, French, and Spanish, correct? Correct. I can only speak English, so hey, right out there you outdid me right away. But I'm out in the community because of this very serious situation in Baton Rouge and around the country. Violence does not beget violence. Alton Sterling, a man who was here at Triple S convenience store owned by Abdullah Muflai, was shot down and killed by 2 Baton Rouge police officers. Now, I'm not saying who was right or wrong, but I'm just saying what happened. Have you ever seen him carry a gun visibly open in the public, harming anyone?
Not at all. Okay. Not at all. He only started carrying a gun for his protection because he had his friends that also sell CDs in different locations had gotten robbed the past couple of days, and he thought he might need something to protect himself.
And you knew he carried this gun because he told you that he carried it, and it was no problem.
It was no problem. It was no problem because I've never had a problem with him. I've never had any kind of problems with him having him and somebody else, any other customers. He was well known out here. Everybody knew him. He was a very friendly person to the customers. He never gave me a problem to where I needed to have him, removed off the property or anything.
Because you had to give him permission to sell in front of your store, and you did. Now, that day when the police showed up, did they park right here in the parking lot?
Yes, they parked in the parking lot. There was also 3 cars that were in front of them. But at the time I got outside to see what was going on, he was already being slammed on top of a car, and then they tasered him and tackled him onto another vehicle, and that's when they pinned him on the floor.
Let me ask you a question. What church are you a member of?
What church am I a member of? I'm a member of many churches.
What church
many
are
churches,
you
many churches, many
and
churches.
There's not a problem.
Many
when
churches.
People start talking about African American churches and what they do and what they
where
don't do,
where are our educational? Where are our
Let's let him finish. Wait a minute, Silk, let's let him finish.
Okay, go ahead.
And then you go back.
Talking about, especially African American people, start talking about what African American churches do and don't do. You are proof positive that most of those people say that are not in no particular church. They're not working in any particular church program, but rather they'll sit on the sideline and try to dictate what a church is or is not doing. So at the end of the day, brother, it takes a village to raise children.
Let's go back to Silky. Now, Silky, what do you have to say?
You cannot point out a Christian academy that we have in our communities, but we send our kids to other Christian academies. And look at his own morals when he said about his program. He said, we teach them how to respect the neighbors, we teach them how to respect the elderly. Until you teach them to respect the Creator, the creator, which is God, then they'll never respect what's been created.
Common sense will
No,
tell
there ain't
you,
no common sense in this. This is real life.
That if a
That's
kid,
the problem.
Hold on, let him finish,
That's the
Reverend
problem.
Robinson.
That's the problem. And look, mannerism. Because what he asked me, oh, please don't cut me off. But then you cut me off because listen at me.
But I told him, let you finish.
No,
could you pass me that pen down there? That does not allow check washing is the Uniball gel pen, black. That's what I read, and that's what we did. Last night, we took a check that I wrote, and I wrote part of it in non-Uniball. And if they, I don't know how close y'all can zoom into this. And then you can see where I wrote in the Uniball, and it stayed in the acetone. This part is almost faded. If we had let it stay a little longer, it would have. But the black with the Uniball is very vivid with the check. You can see how, so the acetone is what washes.
College campus was promised them stuff as far as a musical and a performing career that went to stripping, to a quote of how many people she was going to have sex with every day.
And that happens to a lot of teenagers, right? They think they're going to some glamorous life, you know, 17, 18, 19, 20. College students are that about it. Oh, you're beautiful, which all women love to hear. And so they lure them in and they lie. To them, and then
and you also have kind of the sex tape promise that goes around, the Kim Kardashian model, I guess, because we know of cases where Yangs would send out internet messages that will help make this sex tape for you, and you'll be famous like Kim Kardashian. And the thing was, you go from a stylist to being married to a rapper and a television celebrity. So I think.
How do we make people more aware, you know, at 17, 18, 19, not to believe this? Saying that, let's talk about how the different forms or different ways you can use heroin. Because I read, and you all definitely know better than me, with that first high, you're always trying to ascertain it again, and it never comes back because you need more and more drugs for it to come to that euphoric feeling that is hitting that neurotransmitter in the brain. And you never get it again, right?
Never.
And you're always searching for that feeling.
Always.
And then your liver's collapsing. And
with heroin too, you build up a you know, a habit, and after a while you're using just not get sick. You're not even really getting high.
Exactly.
yeah, because you don't have it physically, your body is craving it because it becomes addiction.
Yeah.
Is there something, now we talk about malware, spyware, and all these different wares, like the Norton systems, the McAfee's, the PC watchdogs. Now, what I read something, because I'm a programmer, I was a programmer, I told
That's
you, at
right,
the
yeah,
Houston
back when.
Space Center for IBM when we had the space shuttle, and I did a similar language coding. I could read a dump, 0 and 1, the binary system, which people at high level language don't understand all of that.
Yeah.
But if any system can be written, a program can be broken. That's just the bottom line. There's always somebody who can find a way, a gate into that system to do what they want to and bring that system down or create another system. Today I have 7 gentlemen here with me who have come in from Houston, Texas. They are members of the People's New Black Panther Party. And they are here not to promote violence. I want to start off with you. Tell me what your theme is, how you are different from the original Black Panther Party, and do you promote violence?
Well, like you said before, we are the People's New Black Panther Party. And in layman terms, you know, you have the Democratic Party, you have the Republican Party, and you have the People's New Black Panther Party, which is a political party for blacks here in America.
Now, when you say it's for blacks, tell me what that means. What do you do for blacks?
Well, we educate our people. We get them to understand. We try to wake up their political consciousness.
Yeah, we're going to stick me, and then I'll have it on during the close. Let's stick me real quick before we take a little break here for
Just
a moment.
to show people that it's not
Now, I've had this
an awful
before,
experience.
so yeah, it's not an awful experience.
So we wipe the points with a little alcohol, just to prep. And the needles themselves,
If I can do it, you
again,
can
are
do it, you all.
single use.
I didn't even feel it.
So that's it.
You see it? You all can see it out there. It's not that bad. Now, you will have more than one needle on you, I can guarantee you.
This is strong hand right here.
Right,
so
this is my
that's
strong
the
hand.
one that's going to hurt him. You know, the one you don't see
the
gonna
one
hurt
with the
him.
ring on it. Maybe that'll get him in the nose, right? Hit him with the ring, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, you know, just punch my hand right here.
And again, I have to commend, and I want to thank Melissa X for being with me today. Melissa X is HIV positive. And you know, I shake a lot of my people's hands and I hug a lot of my guests. But I'd done a little survey and I told her, I asked people, would you, if you knew someone was HIV positive, would you shake their hand? And a lot of people have told me no. And I asked, would you hug them? They said, definitely.
Remain the same.
Yeah. So
There
now
is
what
no,
happens
no
is
effect
that-
on
So
the
I
society.
could be a billionaire like Donald Trump, businessman. Where does he fit?
Yeah, he's
Well,
a
he-
Shudra class.
He's still a
No, not
Sudra, the
Shudra, no,
lowest.
Vaishya,
Vaishya
Vaishya
That
class.
shit next to Sudra,
Business.
the next to the lowest,
Next to the lowest.
as a businessman.
Yeah.
And if he becomes president, where does he move to?
He moves to the higher classes.
But not Brahman, just the next one.
He would become
Yeah,
the
Kshatriya, because
he would
he's a
become the
warrior,
administrator,
he's
which
a
would
king.
be Kshatriya.
He's a warrior, he's a king.
Right.
You know, so now think about the responsibilities that you get when you become a king.
Who
and
developed
when
this
you-
caste system?
Good question. May I answer that?
Yes, yeah,
Okay, good.
he knows more about that.
In the scriptures, and the scriptures, when we talk about
Are you
Indian
Christian or
scriptures,
Hindu? You all are Hindu, right?
we both are Hindus.
Both are
Now,
Hindus, okay.
let me tell you now, when you say Hindu, it's like dumbing down.
That's another subject.
Okay, we're not getting, I'm
That's
doing
a
religion
subject
next week. I'm not doing religion.
1964, he was burned down inside this shop. He was burned down and he was killed and burned to death. Now I have here with me Mr. Stanley Nelson, who wrote the book Devil's Walking. And in that book, he chronicles the death of Mr. Frank Morris. And we are here today outside, and you will hear some noise, but this is a very important feature to see. It just looks like a slab, but to the people in this area, it's much more than just a slab. Stanley, thanks for being here with me again
pleasure.
today. So tell us about what happened here on December 10th, 1964.
So on December 10th, it was the shortly after midnight. Frank Morris was in the back room of his shop.
Before we close, before you go, is that I would like to tell everybody that this lady has done things that Martin Luther King hasn't done or could not do in his day, things I didn't do. She's a all-around different person, a God-fearing person who has opened the doors and is opening the doors.
And what I ask the world to do is to go out and light your candle and help the world whatever you can. It may not be money, but we all have time. Do what you can do, because I believe between black and white, there are always shades of gray. And go out and light your light and be the best you can be, and help your neighbor be the best he or she they can be.